Okay, starting from Imessage, going through responding to negative feedback. So we will focus also on receiving feedback now, confirmation of receipt, assertive response, and active listening. Immessage is the gold rule and the most important one and the crucial thing in communication because of the fact that it really depends on how we communicate, and it has huge impact how someone reacts. It's not about you are also making me angry, you are also making me late, up, whatever you want to say, and what level of aggression you are in mode. The most important thing is to talk about yourself. So is to say about, okay, I am angry. I have a problem that you are late. For me, it is really hard to understand. For me, it is hard to stand that you are doing it. So the fact that you are communicating about yourself, it is putting this person in very comfortable situation to change, because of the fact that we are not we are not finding guilties, we are not finding responsible and bad person, but we want to change the situation. So if my perception is like that, no one can deny it. Because of the fact that if I say like, okay, you are always late and you don't respect me because you don't respect my time, the obvious answer might be, I do respect you. I like working with you. I do respect you. I really appreciate your time. So it is, like no-go situation. And if I'm saying like, I feel that you don't respect my time because you are late, it is like nothing to discuss, because I cannot discuss what are your feelings. If you feel like that, let's solve it. Yeah. So that's the point, to put someone in a situation that this person is having a willingness to change and to motivate this person to change. So it is not, no judging in this, no judging of other people, full of concrete, based on facts, and it is personal. So even if I say, even if I use SBIBI technique and I really observe the situation and I focus on facts, it is really important to say like, I see that you are doing it for the third time. And in my opinion, it is really hard to manage all the situation because of your behavior. So that's the basic rule, and that's the one thing we are starting with. And looking at this from the other side. So when we are getting the negative feedback, because of the fact that that's the moment which I started to talk to you about, when we are implementing and changing the communication in the organizations. So when we implement the one-on-one meetings, the all-hands meetings, the retro, the brainstorming meetings, it is all good until the moment of the first critique. So founder is going well and say like, cool, great, I love that, people are informed, everyone are cool, great. But the first problem is when someone is saying like, okay, if we are having open communication, if we are so transparent, let's discuss it. I don't like what you said. I would like to find out more, or I think you are not right. It is not true. Like whatever feedback you get, it is absolutely crucial, and it is even more important than this first level of implementation. Just to react. This is the what I started to say. This is the more important stage, to react well and to react in an open way, like saying, okay, thank you for the feedback. I will try to do something with it. What would you recommend? What would you like to tell me? Tell me more, etc. This one is even more important than this first declaration that we are doing Q&A, we are doing all hands meeting. Like this is just an entrance. This is just an intro. This is just an invitation. And if you are inviting people to talk, you have to listen and you have to react, and you really have to do something with the feedback you get. Because of the fact that if you are saying like, okay, so, and this is a very common problem, in startups that, okay, just tell me what can we do? And someone is saying like, okay, I don't like the level of, I don't know, information, or I don't like the amount of meetings, for example. We are having too much meetings. And you are reacting like, what? But we need all of them. Oh no, or you try to give arguments. You are trying to discuss like, oh no, but you know that we are in a real need of that. So you know you are wrong. We are doing it right. So there's that, you are inviting someone, and after that you are giving the wall. So that's the tricky thing. And the way how you respond to the negative feedback, it is super important according to organizations. And there are 3 basic situations I would like to tell you about. And to start with the direct one, the most direct one, and like saying if you are agree, if you are having different opinion, if you are okay with some of the follow-ups or some of the ideas and some not, everything is clear and everything is easy to communicate. If there is, the situation that we are expressing directly and we are talking openly and discussing it, like in radical candor way. I'm using radical candor example because of the fact that if you are not familiar with Kim Scott's book, Radical Candor, I strongly recommend, because of the fact that this is the book which is teaching you how step by step communicate different things, different than you think, and difficult things as well. So this is the very good position. Radical Candor, Kim Scott, really strongly recommend. And if you are fighting with the flow which is not direct, feedback which is not directly given, which is a suggestion, which is giving opinion somewhere in the clouds or somewhere in the air. Like this is a very hard thing to take and to discuss with, and to react in general. So that's what we will be focusing in now. For example, I went with a non-work example, like if you are in a meeting with someone and someone is commenting like in general. So, I think that blondes are stupid. Or from work environment, I think that this project is done very bad. I think that project management there was terrible. And you are, for example, one of the managers in this project. So you are one of people who are responsible for delivering it. So it is really, really good strategy when you are getting non-direct feedback, just to try to be concrete. Because if the person who is giving feedback is not concrete, you should be the one. The receiver should take this responsibility and should be the person who is clarifying. So asking like, okay, did I understand you correctly that you think that this project was delivered badly or too late, or what exactly you mean? What exactly you are talking about when you are saying that this project is done badly? Yeah. So paraphrase and ask in a different way, maybe a little bit around the point, but what exactly you mean? This is the way how can we address it, and with the other option is to deal with the situation when we are getting the feedback with default assessment. Let's call it like that. So the information which is somehow the information, somehow the feedback, but it is like, I don't know, like as in a slide, an example, like I would do it differently. Like, so do you like it? You don't like it? what do you think? Like, you would do it differently because you are having different approach, you are having different background, you are having different thinking about the situation, different position, or you just think that I manage it in a wrong way. So, like, what is exactly the difference? And we are having quite often the situation like that in recruitment, because many companies still, and some founders in startups, it is slowly changing, but some founders in startups are still recruiting like, I don't know, I don't like this I started wrongly, that it's not that I don't like this candidate, but I don't know if I like this candidate. Okay, so what is he missing? Or I know, maybe you need some more, experience. Maybe you are looking for a different background, or like, what's going on? If we are on these meetings and if we meet these candidates, we are able to read what's going wrong and what else we can find. But usually the founders are going like, no, like, from the facts perspective, it is okay, but I don't know, something is missing. I don't know what exactly. So the next step, second step from our side is like, okay, maybe there are something with the soft skills. So maybe there's something with communication or with motivation, or you don't believe this person will deal with such difficulties there are in front of this person. No, it's not this. So, and finally, we go back to the stage when someone is expecting us to show the different people, show the different candidates to the founder or to the hiring manager, which will be an option to compare and contrast. So this is the most tricky situation, because we are, as a recruiters, then in this situation, we are between showing more and more people, and to be honest, we don't have exact feedback what type of people should it be. So giving so general information and giving information like, I don't know, I think everything is okay, everything is cool, but I would like to see more. Or, well, everything is good, everything is okay, but I would like to do it differently. Or we are having a different option, totally different, and different startup example, that someone is so introvert and is working usually with mainly technical people and mainly with people who are not communicating on daily basis. So it is like, okay, it sounds that this is the negative information. And this is like internal code of the team. For example, it is a quite common situation when we are hiring the first person for the team in startup, which is not from the network. We, as an HR hints, we are usually working with growing teams. So it is very common for us that we are starting cooperation when company is starting to recruit people outside of the network, because first 7 people, first 10 people were hired just from, friend of a friend, colleague of the colleague, someone joined and take someone from his team or her team, etc. So this is the super important, that you are having the code inside the team. The code of jokes, the code of understanding memes, gifs, using, using irony as a communication flow. And what is the super important part is the fact that only these people understand you, which are very similar to you. And on a stage of development, when you are growing intensively, and on this stage of development, when you are trying to get people from the market who are not your friends and not your families and not friends of your friends, it is super important to hire people who are not similar to you. Because of the fact that, as you know probably from the research, that best performance are having the companies which are the companies and the teams which are built of different people. Because when you are having such scope of characteristics, and other 5 people are having the same set of characteristics, it is very comfortable for you. And it is nice because you are watching the same films, you are doing the same sport, you are in a similar age probably, but you also don't see the same mistakes. You make the same mistakes and you are having the same perspective. So there is no one who can tell you that it is not the only perspective, and you are making this bias mistake. So you are seeing only your tunnel, your point of view, and other people are, staying exactly behind you. And it is much better to have people who are standing nearby you or on your left or your right, because of the fact that the picture is more full and the people are able to see more when they are different and they are having different backgrounds. So from that point of view, it is much better when you are growing your company, like from 15 people to more, or 19, 20 plus. It is super crucial to take care also in the recruitment process to have the different people and to have the varied team. And this is not only about performance, but also about the communication culture, and also about the organization and the communication flow in general. And coming back to the communication code, which part of its consistent work is the fact that if the leader, for example, says that I would do it differently, means that you did it wrong, okay, it is part of the code, but it is like very short-term communication strategy, because we are saying, like, as we are having with friends, with our partners, with our family, like, okay, she knows what I mean. You know what I mean, yeah? But when we are scaling, it's all good when we are having 5 members in the team and we are not growing. It's absolutely good, and safety, and everyone are having great fun. But on the other hand, when we are growing and scaling, it is not about having the code, because people who are having different backgrounds and having different point of view, they may be not in this round of code. So it is much better to learn and to teach also your team how to communicate openly and how to communicate inclusively. And according to the diversity and inclusion, for me, it is not, the part of proportion, how many different people we have and how they differ between each other, but to have the communication also inside the company, which is as inclusive that we are able to communicate like actively and with high interest. And what is the different example of difficult and tricky communication is the passive-aggressive communication. This is also the default assessment type of answer. The example I gave at the beginning of our meeting. So, no, of course, I always do it wrong. I do everything wrong. No, that's okay. Just kill me. Just tell me more bad things. Yeah. So this is the strategy that someone is not communicating directly, not saying like, okay, that hurts me, and for me it's difficult, and please give me 1 hour, 2 hours to, calm down, or let's meet tomorrow, because of the fact that now I'm not able to be a good discussion partner. And this is a very tricky thing, and it really needs high level of self-awareness to say things like that. And sometimes our receiver, person we are giving feedback to, is not enough. It's not mature enough. It's not self-awareness enough. So we should help this person, and we should say like, okay, I see that you are not communicating in an open way. I see that you are angry, and I think that you are. We don't have to name it, like calling that you are doing passive-aggressive technique, but say like, okay, I see everything, you say everything is okay, but I take it as a defense strategy. And I think that for you, it may be hard what you've heard just from me. So maybe you need time, or maybe we can continue tomorrow, or in general, how do you feel? So that's the, taking every passive aggressive defense strategy completely naked, leaving nothing there, and not to play in this game, because it is very, very easy to get into this game. Say, yeah, okay. If you say that everything is okay, I will not be fighting for that. Okay, if you like it, if you prefer, as you wish. No, yeah. In your case, in your position of the founder, of the manager, and the leader, it is not about playing the games with people, even if they are not doing it, with bad intentions. Intentions and what exactly someone wants or doesn't want, this is not the case here. Because we hear what we hear, and we have to do something with the words we've listened. And, guessing, what exactly someone will mean, and was it done by intention or not? Or is this person self-aware enough, but acting as he or she wasn't? It is too complicated, and you don't have time for it. You don't have time to analyze, to find the reasons, etc. The best aspect, the best strategy for that is to call the problem by its name, and say, in my opinion, the problem in our situation is the fact that I'm angry now and I'm not able to discuss it calmly, and I see that you are also having your emotions. Maybe we should wait and talk later. Are we able to continue or not? What do you think? Having this problem-solving group, even if it's 2 members group, and focusing really on what's behind it, not to stay on this, first level of, okay, are you angry? No, I'm not. Okay, so let's go further. It's not about first reactions, which can be difficult and can be problematic, but we have to go through them. Confirmation of receipt, it's super important when you are taking feedback and you are receiving feedback. And again, if we are managers, if we are leaders, if we are founders, it is super important to take this responsibility from our people. Because the leadership is not about, as we discussed it previously, it is not about having ready people to work, to communicate, and to everything on board, but it is mostly about constant work, about constant feedback, and about constant changing. And if your people are not able to do it well, you have to do that for them, and to help them and to teach them how to do that well. So if you are taking a feedback, if you are getting an information, what is super important, make sure that the other side understands what you say. That's the case which I started with, that you give feedback and you run. Okay, my tension and my stress because of the fact that I have to give feedback is so high, and I'm preparing to it from half an hour or 10 minutes, and I'm thinking about it intensively, that when I spoke it out loud, for me it's done. It's not done. It's the beginning. And the crucial thing is to manage the flow, what happened after that. So asking okay, are we sure that we are on the same page? When I receive feedback, I say okay, do you mean that for you it is so hard problem that I'm late for the third time in this week, that you are asking me to, take another car or take another tram, or what else should I do? Is it a really problem for you? And yeah, the second part is saying yes, for me it is crucial. This 5 minutes every morning makes me sick. I can't work in such mode, because it's so problematic for me that I'm not able to manage it. So yeah, that's the flow, which should be, the level of confirmation and saying yes, I got it, I understand. I'm not always I not always have to be totally agree, and it is not always yes on my side, it can be no, but even if we don't agree with each other, we have to confirm that we received it. We have to confirm that, okay, like, what exactly you mean? Maybe I need more details. Maybe I need something more to understand exactly what's happened. So that's the flow we always do. Like the feedback we get or we listen to, and we are saying like, okay, thank you. It is not the feedback given well. Because even if we are giving feedback and it's negative feedback, for example, the constructive one, asking for change, it is about saying, okay, so maybe you don't understand something, or maybe I can give you more information. Maybe you need more details. What is important here? It is not about going back, because it is very strongly, we sometimes have this tendency to say something and to say like, okay, no, maybe there are some situations when you behave in a different way. It's not so bad. It is quite okay. Don't do that. Like it is better not to give feedback than give a messy one. The messy one, which is not clear, which is not direct, but, divided into different parts. As I said, assertive response is very important part of it. So saying no, it is part of receiving feedback. So saying, listen, from my side, I understand what you say, but from my side, the situation looks differently. I will know, I'm not able to do that. No, I don't do that. Like, what can I offer you just as an alternative way? What can I suggest? What can I do differently? Yeah, let's agree on something else. Let's agree on something different, but you always have to call it by your name. So again, talking about concrete situation when we are saying like, yeah, this thing will not work for me. This one works better. This one works the best, for example. And from listening perspective, from active listening perspective, techniques, paraphrasing, summarizing, like making sure that we really listen to someone, making sure that we really hear what this person is saying. And there are two backgrounds of it. One background is the social one. I'm sure that you know Robert Cialdini, who is the author of Social Influence Techniques. So when we are working with other people, when we are working with the people who are similar to us, of course, we do prefer such circumstances, such environment, and we are not always have to be exactly the same as other people, but we do the techniques which makes us similar. So we use similar words. We don't do it with full consciousness. It's usually unconsciousness process. I don't know if you are you see that when you are sitting with someone in a room, for example, or you are spending a weekend with your friend. It is full weekend, a lot of hours, a lot of time, and after that you come back to home and you are saying to your partner like, I don't know, the specific word, specific for your friend. And okay, your partner says like, oh yeah, now I can see that you've spent all weekend with Kasia, for example. Yeah, so that's the similar case that we really, due to the fact that we are really social animals, and we really want to use our, for example, mirror neurons. Mirror neurons are responsible for, being part of the society. So part of our brain is really having that interest and is really keen on being part of the group, because of the fact that from our past and from our roots, we know that part of the group is much better and much safe than being alone and fighting alone. So we want to higher our chances, and we are getting similar to other people. There are different phrases in different languages for it that, like, when you are getting into the society, you are part of the team, you are starting to behave as the team. And it is very typical. It is, of course, a type of script, which is part of bigger stereotype, but in general, it is true, and it is working due to the fact that our historical brains are behaving like this. So, it is absolutely okay from the society point of view and the social point of view, but also from the neuro point of view and the cognitive point of view, that you are just programmed like that. We are all programmed like that we are really in the need of making sure that the groups accept us. Is it a group? Is it a one-on-one meeting? Is it a pair, couple, partner situation? We need confirmation, and we need paraphrasing. Like, okay, did I understand you correctly? What I say, what I hear in what you're saying is this and this problem. Am I right? I see that you gave 3 examples just to clarify, just to make it understandable for me. Can we repeat once again? Just to build not only from a cognitive point of view and the brain perspective, which is doing it, making it unconsciousness process, but usually also from the communication, from the social point of view. And what is quite tricky when we are starting to implement it is the lack of habit, because leaders usually understand that it is useful, and they understand that, okay, I needed to communicate well with my team, but what can I do to make it better? What can I do to start? What can I do to do something, just to, make the first step? And what I really recommend is like having 1 week checks. So every Monday, for example, you are checking if you did it minimum once per each meeting. And you are having, or in your phone or in somewhere in your calendar. For example, my customers are putting it and in their calendars or using the app, and they are having these reminders like, please do that before the meeting is starting. They're having additional reminder to give the active listening signals, just to build a habit, because it is not about being cool and being nice. This is about building the habit, and to have that as part of your standard default reaction. And it really helps you to be better understood and to be better in communication in general. Okay. Any comments? Any stories to share from your side? Like, do you maybe disagree with something, or you have different experiences? Before we go to the last part and discuss when we can stop to not when we are stopped from giving feedback and we don't do that, and when feedback is not the best option. Before we move to that part, I would like to ask you if you are having any comments according to these communication tips, according to what we've just said.
I have one question, because I was wondering, we were discussing some, let's say, ways of making this feedback valuable, but how can we encourage, let's say, employee or the person we want to share feedback with that it is really valuable? Because, let's say, some people are coming from different companies. In some, this feedback feature might be something like, okay, we have to do it once a year, but who cares? So how can we encourage a person like that to make him feel that this would be very insightful for him and helpful for both sides? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Got it. So you are asking, Konrad, how can we know that this feedback is really validate? How we know that this feedback is valuable for us, for example, right?
Yeah, basically yes. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay, because of the fact that I'm the leader as well, and I'm working with many startups, and this is quite a common problem. What you are saying, that there are many advisors around us, and we never know who is right. And we never know whose feedback is the most valuable, and how can we validate it? Yeah, and what is the most important thing? And here I used a filter proposed by Brené Brown. If you don't know her, check her out on Netflix. There's one. This is her FedEx, I think, available on Netflix. And if you like podcast, Dare to Lead is the great one. Just to start with. And I totally agree with her when she's saying like, if someone wasn't at the arena, if someone wasn't in your situation in the past, or this person is not now in your situation, it is not the person who you should follow up. And you should listen to everyone, of course. You can take these opinions or not, but if you are having an opportunity to find out more from someone who already has been in this situation or already knows the problem, it is the last verification for me, because when I get information about how to lead the company, or how to think about business, or how to think about making money, or how to think about psychology, from my mom, who spent 40 years in one workplace, of course, her intentions are really good, and her love to me is really, really, really great. But it is not the final criteria. The final criteria is the path that person already went by, and the arena. This is the quote from Brené Brown. If someone has already been to the arena and has the difficult and hard experiences, and has the difficult to lead the company on his or her own in front of many other people, criticizing and judging, and being not always very helpful, it is the person you should listen to if you are the founder of the startup. Because sometimes we make that mistake, that we are listening to people who are having the best intentions. And there is even a phrase for it, that the way to hell is done by good intentions, and of course it is not true according to the motivations of people who want to help us, because they really are usually our friends or family or partners or parents, and those intentions are great, but they don't have this understanding of the situation, they don't have this experience, and they didn't experience that level of the stress founders do, or they don't have this experience with investors, with the business, with the products. So that's the way. If someone got that level of hardness in situations in business, that's the person you should validate there on the higher level, I think.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, any other comments, any other conclusions, or your stories you would like to share, which are similar or totally different? The more different, the better. So please let us know. Okay, let's move forward then. We could go through the situations when we are not the best feedback givers, and we are also not the best feedback receivers, which is maybe even more important, and that to it is important that we are not always ready for taking feedback. And it is super honest, and it is absolutely okay to tell the other part that, okay, this is not my day. I understand that I did something wrong. I understand that you want to feedback me, but if we can wait until tomorrow, if we can wait until after that meeting slot, because of the fact that I know that currently I'm not able to take what you want to tell me. If you want to give me any follow-up, any feedback, okay, please do, but tomorrow. So it is absolutely okay not to be ready to get feedback. And especially that we are not preparing someone for getting feedback. So we don't do, as a managers, we don't do like, okay, you fucked up today. Let's meet tomorrow, or let's meet in the next week and we will discuss it. Because there's no need to, pretend or create the stressful situation, because this person is full of stress. This person is full of waiting stress and, the pressure that, okay, what will happen on this one-on-one? What will happen on this meeting? Like, let's do it right just in time. If someone is done bad, if someone could be done better, just giving the feedback in this second, in this minute, after the situation, after the incident. That's the simplest form of the feedback. Like one situation, one behavior, and one feedback. This is the situation lasting for 3-5 minutes, just to say like, okay, I don't like it. Can we do something to change it? Is it okay for you as well? What can we do exactly? So that's the basic form. Of course, we can also do the retro meeting. So after a sprint, for example, in tech teams, 1 week, 2 week sprint, or after the time passes and we are waiting for the meeting, which is the regular one, to discuss the difficulties. And this is absolutely okay, because everyone know what went bad, and everyone had a space, had a time to think about it, and we can do the follow up because of the fact that we are all already distanced to that. So we are having a space. Okay, let's discuss it. What went wrong? What could be done better? And of course, we can use the excuse me. Of course, we can use the Scrum methodologies and the definitions of the retro meetings, or the retrospectives methods. But also, we can do that as we feel it, as we feel the need of saying, okay, this was pretty perfect, I liked it, and this wasn't, and I would like to focus on avoiding such situations in the next steps. So this is the best option. This is the best option to use the time anytime in any situation. But there are some exceptions for that. We generally don't do the feedback environment. We don't give the feedback when we feel that we want to revenge. We don't do that in the situation that when we are afraid of how someone will take us. And these are a little bit different situations. So I'll start from the first one. Sometimes we get the development or the difficult feedback, the changing one from someone, and we want to get the revenge. So we are really into taking this person and just having the opposite situation than we experienced. Just leaving behind all the reasons why we do. If we feel that we don't have an intention to change someone's behavior, we don't have a good intention to say, okay, I need us to work on this, and we really do that together, there is no chance to give the feedback in the wrong way, in the right way, sorry. Because it will be, aggression behind it, bad intentions behind it, and the revenge willingness behind it. So let's leave it. From the resource, people resource and the cognitive science point of view, we need 24 hours to go down with emotions, go down with wanting to make a revenge. We usually underestimate it because when we are having the conflict situation and the high change situations, we are using each other like 1 hour or half an hour. Okay, let's take a break and let's meet again. And it is usually not enough because of the fact that on one hand, sometimes there's, external circumstances. We are having a meeting and we are not able to wait until tomorrow, for example. But if it's like a regular employee and if it's the situation that we can move that feedback to another day, it's better to do that. So it is not always the, real time need, because you can hurt someone and you cannot reach your goals in this case. And the second thing, I called it, you are not a salary increase. So you don't have to be liked or loved by everyone. It is not your case as a manager. It is not your case as a leader to make everyone keen on you. And, everyone reckons that you are a great technical person, great CEO, great leader, great manager, or whatever. It is not your goal. Your goal is to take everything out of the road of your people, just to let them go to the goal you've planned. So your role is the organizational role, the role to help others reach the team goals. And you have to remember in this situation that it is always the difference in your perspectives. It is always the difference in your understanding of the facts, different opinions, and different behaviors you are dealing with. And there is no chance to have that comfort that you are leading only the people who like you. Even if you are leading the startup and you are hiring your friends and families, this situation before you are hiring from external, as we discussed previously. Even if so, there are some past experiences, there are some previous situations when people are having this thinking like, she's doing it badly. She's not the best in that type of communication, or, she cannot do this and this. She's not the best in it. That's okay. Like, you cannot think about being nice. You cannot think about being cool leader. Cool, like meaning sympathetic and likable. The best leaders are the honest leaders. The honest leaders, the people who are able to help others to grow, to develop, not to be the nicest one. So remember about it when you are giving feedback, because the second important thing, so that the fact that people in a role of founder or manager, they are taking care so much and thinking about it so much that if they will be giving negative feedback, they will be losing people, they will be, saying like, oh no, she always wants something. Oh, she never likes something. You give a lot of negative, a lot of positive, just to help people growing. And you are transparent, you are honest, and that's your role. That's the reason why you are the leader, not to be, the most likable person in the room. Okay, we are having 15 minutes to wrap up and to give you maybe some space for questions or comments at the end. I would like to give you the summary of our meeting and of our flow of giving and the receiving feedback in the small teams and in very agile teams, but not agile in understanding that we are using that methodology always, but that saying in that understanding that it is very dynamic and it has to these teams have to deliver very fast and a lot of pivots are in front of us.